Hello and welcome to Stories That Shape Us. My name is Joanna Daniel. So I've been doing a rejection series, and today is I think day seven of the rejection series. And I wanted to close this week out doing rejection with talking about some lessons from rejection, sharing my own stories of rejection, some of the things that I've learned. So everything that I shared with you this week, to some extent I've had to do some of that kind of work. I know rejection is not comfortable. I know rejection leaves you with this feeling in your stomach that can be sickly. It can feel like a weight on your shoulders. It can, different people interact with the feelings in different ways. Um, Helping other people to navigate what rejection feels like for them, and helping them to find resolution and understanding for themselves. But when I was writing the rest of the series yesterday, not yesterday, today is, you will be listening to this on Saturday. I'm recording this on Tuesday. So I was writing the whole series on Monday. And when I was writing the series, it really came to me that you've experienced some rejection. I've experienced rejection in different ways: personal relationships, work. And since I started Wounds to Scars and is wanting to do deep work with people and know that there are organizations that need my services, and learning, paying people to teach me to pitch and to send in pitches out with no response. No response. And what does that feel like when you're pitching and there's no response? And even trying to engage with people on social media, with my content, with the work that I know that I do in the early days when I really wanted to reach people, and I was so excited about healing. I wanted everybody to be excited about it. I wanted everybody to know. And I remember I used to try and do one webinar every week, and I put the title out and I put it out. People would sign up sometimes and nobody would turn up. And I remember one day I came home from church and I said to my husband, "That's it. I'm not doing this again." And I shut the laptop and I thought, "That's it. That's it." Wake up the next morning and one person like a post, and I'm like, yeah, I was excited and I wanted to go again. And because I didn't want to give up. I believed in this. I believed in what I was doing. And I believe in what I was called to do. I believe in my purpose, and I believed in the change I know I could effect in people's lives. And so, though it was really difficult to keep going in those days when everything felt like rejection, I am glad I didn't. And that's what I shared in yesterday's podcast, that don't give up, even if you didn't get the job, if the proposal wasn't accepted, because there are people waiting for you that you can serve, that your proposal is going to serve, that your book will serve, how you will serve in that company and help your team grow. Don't give up. There's a team that will have you. There's a space that is for you to serve. So if I'd given up in those days, yes, somebody else would have done it. But I don't want anybody else to get the blessing that I should have had because of the thing that I should have done that I didn't do because I gave up early. I gave up too soon. Now that's a double-edged sword, because sometimes there's certain things that we need to give up and move on from. But there's certain times, and the beauty comes, the challenge comes in the wisdom of knowing the difference of when do I keep going and when is it time for me to stop this thing and to move on. So there is that part, dealing with sending out proposals, sending out pitches with no response whatsoever. It doesn't mean that my idea wasn't good. It just means that it wasn't for those people. So I kept going. And you should keep going too. Dealing with rejection in not necessarily personal life, but in friendships. It can be really challenging and these are some of the lessons that I learned. It can be challenging when you want to be a part of a group and that group don't accept you. You can tell yourself, you will go over and over in your mind, why don't they accept me? Why don't they want me? And you can be so bogged down with why they don't accept you and want you that you miss the other places where you're welcomed and needed and well loved and embraced and accepted. And so it's about shifting your focus. It's about not believing the lies that your brain will tell you about yourself because there's a certain group that don't want you. It means that you have to learn how to reframe those thoughts. Not reframe what happened, because rejection is rejection, it's happened. You can't reframe what happened. You can't reframe the fact that they didn't invite you, they didn't come, they didn't tell you. You can't reframe that. It is what it is. But you can reframe what you tell yourself. Because what you tell yourself might be a habitual thing that you constantly do. And so it just automatically comes. But you can learn how to reframe that, to breathe, to be with the feeling, to work through the feeling, and to turn towards and allow love to come in the places where people of the capacity and are capable of doing it, right? So they're people who have the capabilities and the capacity to love you and to offer you the kind of connection that is going to be deep and meaningful for you. But if you're focused in the other direction, you'll miss that. And that's what I learned, that I can miss my blessing, the people who are connecting, the people who want to connect, because I'm so focused on the other side, because it's more comfortable. And we can be comfortable in discomfort. But when we are wanting to move out of that, it will be really uncomfortable because, whoa, it's uncharted territory. We don't understand it. The rules are different. We have to learn the rules. We have to allow ourselves to grow. We have to learn new people. We have to learn and understand them. Sometimes culture is different, and a range of different things might be different. But as long as you don't have to shape yourself in somebody that you're not. And that's the thing about that. One of the lesson I've learned. Sometimes the spaces that I want to be in, I can't even be authentically me. And it's when they shut the door, because as much as you're trying to fit yourself in, the rules keep changing. And so, but over here, you are welcome just as you are, and you can be you, and you can be authentic. So there's a work to do, and that's another lesson. There's a work to do when you're rejected. There's a work to do to really sit with and be with yourself, to learn and understand yourself, so you can heal and you can grow and you can come into a level of self-awareness that you can be happy with the self that you know. And when you're happy with the self that you know, you won't fit her or him into any space that isn't right. And I always say, go in spaces where your nervous system is relaxed, where your nervous system can be happy. Go in those places. Don't go in spaces where you have to fit yourself and you have to twist yourself in certain positions to be accepted. That's not your place. Go in spaces where you can be accepted, where you be loved and appreciated, where there are people with the capacity to love you, to hear you, to understand you, to connect with you. That's what, because life is short, we like to say, but also we should live it in a way that is authentic, that is nourishing, that will meet our needs. I really believe in that. But I believe that we also have to know what those needs are. We have to be comfortable with them, not compromise them, not apologize for them. Just accept that they are, and we are going to be. So spaces, I trained with this woman who liked to say, where I can be, in capital B. So find spaces where you can be, capital B, B-E rather. So find those spaces and do. So some of those lessons that I've learned, find spaces where you can be yourself, learn and grow and understand who you are, grow in self-awareness as you navigate rejection. Be content with who you see, and lean hard in those places where those people are open to connection and open to being with you. Many, many more lessons, too many for me to share here on this podcast. But the journey of continuing of growing through rejection continues in the 3-part audio that I'll share in the show notes of this video. Join us as we continue to give you, in that you will have more tools, more things, questions that will take you deeper, so that you can do some self-reflection, and hopefully you'll come up with ideas and ways of loving yourself, being compassionate with yourself, accepting yourself, and just know that you fit somewhere. There's a place where you belong, but we want to first help you to accept that you belong to you, and accept who for just who you are. And then there'll be places that are open up to receive you. Thank you for joining me in this series and in this episode of Stories That Shape Us. I hope you'll continue to join us on the next story.